You can see the rocket behind us. It's mind-blowing. This is quite the view, Dan.
No better seat in the house, no better thing to talk about a rocket as you watch it launch. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Starbase for another Starship launch. I'm Dan Hewitt from SpaceX Communications. We are at T-minus under 33 minutes and counting. Our T0 time coming a little after the bottom of the hour. Now, Starship program has brought us nonstop excitement back in 2024. This year shaping up to be even bigger.
Absolutely. We're looking at even more launches of Starship this year with tons of exciting firsts starting today. Flight 7 has a lot in store, from Starship's next generation upper stage design on its first flight today to deploying the first simulated Starlink satellites and the second booster catch attempt. We're kicking off 2025 in style here in the Lone Star State. So hold on to your butts because it's going to be a wild year.
And it's all ramping up as we chase after that full reusability for the world's biggest rocket. And we're going to be with you today every step of the way. Also joining us, though, amid a very excited crowd growing over there in Hawthorne, is Jesse Anderson. Jesse, how's everything going in LA?
Hey, Dan and Kate, everything is all good here on the factory floor. We're just outside of Mission Control, and we're T-minus 31 minutes away, but we already have a really big crowd here building. There you go. Starting to build up here. Every flight of Starship has made huge progress, and today is another exciting one. We're joined by Starship, Raptor, and Starlink teams here with me today, and everyone is getting super excited for this flight test. So with that in mind, I expect it to get very loud in here soon. But for now, I'm going to hand it back over to you guys at Starbase for a quick look back at the flights that brought us here today.
Hey, thanks, Jesse. Now, the more we fly safely, the faster we learn, the sooner we realize full and rapid reuse. The previous 6 flight tests proved we're on the right track. Each one of those tests provides a ton of invaluable data and, of course, some pretty great views along the way.
Oh, yeah. Every one of those tests informed the upgrades that are debuting on today's flight test. And you know, we've all been watching this, following through the incredible testing campaign for every flight. And man, I can't wait for today as well as everything else we've got planned this year.
Just a recap of what happened just before this flight test. Our most recent one was back in November 19th. That was Flight 6. It lifted off at 4 p.m. Central from Starbase, Texas, just a couple miles over our shoulders.
It was a gorgeous sunset ascent. Let's take a look.
Attention all flight crew members, flight is go for launch.
It's been just over a month since Flight 5. The goal is to get that turnaround time down to hours.
We have liftoff. Stage separation.
30 seconds, no catch decision.
Booster offshore divergence.
Tune in and watch the ship fly around planet Earth.
Relight demo startup. And shutdown.
Starship is at 100 kilometers altitude. Flaps now have control of the vehicle. Starship has started the subsonic belly flop. standard.
All right, now today's flight test is going to look pretty similar profile-wise to that last one and honestly the last couple. So everything starts off, as always, with liftoff. The Super Heavy igniting those 33 Raptor engines. Super Heavy going to power us through that initial ascent, get Starship on its way to space before we get to the hot stage maneuver.
Exactly. The ship will then ignite engines while it's still attached to the booster. That will allow us to separate the two stages. That booster will leave a few engines on for that flip and return back here to Starbase for a catch at the launch tower.
And while booster catch is blowing our minds, ship keeps going all the way to space, gets into its suborbital trajectory. Got a couple on-orbit things. We're going to deploy our first test satellites, also going to relight a Raptor engine while in space. That all sets us up then for re-entry.
As we have seen on the previous flights, courtesy of Starlink, that re-entry period gives us such gorgeous views. It's like, just a rainbow flow of colors as the ship re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. The ship will relight its engines, perform a flip maneuver for a soft water landing in our targeted location in the Indian Ocean. And that will once again be daylight given our later launch window. So today's flight test will be launching the next generation of Starship. It'll attempt the first payload deployment test, fly multiple re-entry experiments geared toward ship catch and reuse, and of course, the launch and return of the Super Heavy booster back to the launch site right there behind us.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing, but ship, kind of the star of the show for a lot of stuff today. A huge block of upgrades to Starship's upper stage are debuting on this flight test, adding more capability. We'll start off up top. Those forward flaps got a redesign. They shrunk in size. We shifted them towards the top of the vehicle, away from the heat shield. That's going to make it significantly less exposed to re-entry heating. And then Starship itself, we made it about 2 meters taller. So we stretched it up to about 52 meters. That allowed us to add 25% more propellant volume, along with a bunch of propulsion upgrades like vacuum jacketing of those feed lines to the engines, an entirely new feed line system for the Raptor vacuum engines, an improved avionics module for propulsion, all that adding performance and the ability to fly longer missions.
And just like on Flight 6, tiles have been purposely removed to stress test vulnerable areas. This time we're doing it across the entire vehicle, including in critical areas, as we use this flight to push the boundaries of Starship's capabilities. And for re-entry experiments, multiple metallic tiles are being tested, as you can see there on your screen, including some that have a version with active cooling.
Then the vehicle's avionics, its brains, got a complete redesign. Some of the new things. And then something really cool has me super excited. We're going to be deploying 10 Starlink simulators that are similar in size to our next generation Starlink satellites. With pretty unparalleled payload capacity and full reusability, Starship's going to be able to deploy our more advanced V3 Starlink satellites, which is going to help us continue to revolutionize global connectivity. Each of those Starlink V3 launches on Starship is going to add about 60 terabits per second of capacity to the Starlink network. And that alone that's more than 20 times the capacity we're getting with every V2 Mini flight on a Falcon 9 right now. That just helps further Starlink's impact in the coming years as we expand access to high-speed internet all around the world and eventually beyond. And those Starlink simulators are going to be on the same suborbital trajectory as Starship, and they're expected to demise upon entry. Starship itself, its trajectory looks very similar to all of our last several flights, suborbital, splashdown targeted into the Indian Ocean, a couple hundred miles off the western coast of Australia. And then the other on-orbit thing we're doing is going to be relighting a single Raptor engine while in space. We knocked that out last time. V2 ship, new propellant system. Let's do it again on this one.
Ship's going to be busy. Now, of course, we can't forget to add that today's Super Heavy booster is reflying flight-proven hardware for the first time. A Raptor engine that flew on the booster that was caught during Starship's 5th flight test. You can see it there on your screen. This flight-proven engine, we've got Raptor 314 there, hence why there's a piece of pie on this nozzle. Maybe we can get that image rotated so you can see it a little bit better. Yep, there we go. If you didn't already know, we like our jokes around here. So that's what we have planned for today's flight test. And so far, everything is on track as we continue to count down. We're now within 23 minutes of launch. We're at 22 minutes and 52 seconds. Everything continues to look good. Still a little breezy, but that's okay for us.
Yeah, we set up our desk in a wind tunnel today. It's probably windier here than it is anywhere else, but weather's cooperating, really clear skies, no rain today, still well within our limits for booster launch or catch. Not tracking any issues on vehicle as we continue to count down. We're still loading prop on board. Our range team also reporting that the range looks like it will be clear at our current T0. So that's super important. We're going to keep an eye on that all the way up to the end.
As for what we've already done with the vehicle leading up to today, we stacked the vehicle over the weekend. We lifted the ship on top of the super heavy booster. Hours ago, we cleared the site of all personnel. And of course, our flight controllers came on console, some of them sitting in the building behind Dan and I. And as Dan mentioned, the range team was deployed. They are standing by in the Gulf to make sure that the booster has a clear to return back to here at the launch tower, but also they're located in the Indian Ocean, standing by to make sure that the targeted landing zone for the ship is also clear as well.
And then we knock out a whole bunch of things in the hours before launch. We do an alignment on all the guidance, navigation, and control. We did tank purges, pressure checkouts, make sure we were ready for prop load, check the booster, quick disconnects, and the ship one. We demate the chopsticks. We actually do a little wiggle check on them, make sure we have control, as we're going to be using those for catch. Load up all of the hydraulics that are on the tower, and then we did the initial locks and methane chills, getting them ready for prop load.
Now, speaking of prop load, we conducted the go, no-go poll for prop load at 3:30, so a little bit less than an hour ago. All was good there. Prop load is underway. The LOX load on the booster started at T-minus 45 minutes, and fuel started at T-minus 43 minutes. Booster fuel will start at T-minus 41 minutes, and then LOX on the booster started at T-minus 35. So that will all wrap up at T-minus 3 minutes and 20 minutes on the ship side, and at T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds on the booster side. So everything is looking good. Propellant is loading.
Yeah, looks like we're about half full of everything on booster, 3/4 of the way there on ship, looking good for a launch today. With that, though, let's jump over. Let's check back in with Jesse real quick and all of our teams out at Hawthorne.
Thanks, Dan and Kate, and great to hear the updates with the vehicle as we prepare for liftoff. There is a lot more people here, as expected. Love it. All the Raptor engines are built here, so there's a lot of that team here in the crowd, so they have a strong connection to the Starship flight today. Every flight test gets us closer to a fully operational Starship, which gets us closer to our ultimate goal to make humanity a multi-planetary species. To establish cities on Mars, we're going to need high-cadence, low-cost flights for cargo and crew. As the only fully reusable rocket with this kind of capability, Starship is the only vehicle in development that will be able to unlock our multi-planet future. Starship uses a first-of-its-kind on-orbit propellant transfer to refuel in orbit in preparation for these long trips. With milestones like ship catch and in-orbit prop transfer coming up, 2025 promises to be huge for Starship and our journey to Mars, with our first trip currently planned for the end of 2026. Between the reusability, low cost, and heavy lift capabilities, this all comes together to help us deliver up to 100 people at a time to destinations
Is it
near
work?
and far,
Do it work?
and to deliver payloads farther
I think it is.
and at a lower cost than any other vehicle. We'll be able to launch more massive payloads than anything else flying or in development today, capable of sending things like giant space telescopes or the next generations of space stations into orbit on a single launch. So while today's flight is just a test, the future is much closer than we realize. But one flight test at a time. So let's head back to Dan and Kate for a closer look at Starship.
Thanks, Jesse. Starship features two major parts. The ship, which has 6 Raptor engines, and the Super Heavy booster, which has 33 Raptor engines. The Raptor engine is a reusable methane
couldn't test this
oxygen
unless I
staged
switched
combustion
over,
engine
so
that powers the Starship system and has twice the thrust of the Falcon 9
I can
Merlin
get
engine. Now, just like
you to
we
show
saw
up.
flights 1 through 6, the current iteration of Starship is an experimental vehicle flying for development. As we mentioned earlier, today's flight is debuting
also
a
get
ton
rid
of
of echo,
upgrades
'cause
that we've
it's
had in the
echoing
works
a couple
in
times.
order to increase Starship's reliability and performance. Several of these upgrades will also unlock our ability to fly longer
there we
missions,
go.
something that we'll want to
Let's
do
turn on
as we
this,
start
actually.
doing
Why
orbital
is
flights
that off?
around Earth.
There we
To
go.
get an even better sense of just how big Starship is, we can start here. Let's take a person about 2 meters tall, towering over that. You got your
That's much
Millennium
better.
Falcon clocking in at 35.
So much better. Okay.
Just above that, we've got a Falcon 9 rocket, payload fairing attached, double that
Didn't realize
height, you're up
how
at 70
clear the
meters.
mic is now.
And then topping it all off, nearly twice the
that.
size. It's a fully stacked Starship, up to 123.
I haven't streamed
about
with my
2
new
meters
microphone
taller.
since.
I
have
altogether,
this
the
now.
ship 52 meters, super heavy boosters 71, and
We're
super
14
fun
minutes into the
is
stream.
we're
There's
gonna
already
make ship
1.1
booster
million
even
viewers.
taller in the
We'll see it
future.
down here whenever it goes away.
Which is crazy because turning around and
God
looking
damn.
at it and thinking that it's going to be
1.1
bigger, that's
million.
mind-blowing.
In like 14 minutes.
Now, moving up the rocket, the ship features 6 Raptor engines.
That's insane.
3 optimized for sea level performance and 3 optimized for vacuum performance.
see.
Raptor Vacuum, or RVAC, is a similar design to the Raptor engine, but features a larger exhaust section and a larger expansion nozzle to maximize the engine's efficiency
camera
in
working.
space. Our
Good.
upgraded ship that we're debuting today carries about 300 more tons of propellant than the last flight's ship, bumping it up from 1,200 metric tons to about 1,500 metric tons. It's a lot. The ship is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on
That should
any
be
hard
fine.
surface.
That should
Now,
be
the
fine.
ship is also
should be fine.
outfitted with newly
We have that camera
redesigned
back.
forward flaps that are used to aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude during atmospheric flight and enable a precision
Hell
landing.
yes.
The new flaps are lighter and positioned more leeward or away from the heat shield.
I have a feeling we're going to see a catch.
For reusability,
on
the
this
ship
launch.
has to be able to
100%.
survive
Well,
re-entry
like,
not just one time,
85% we're
but
going to see a
multiple
catch
times.
because
The ship's heat shield is essentially
well,
what
it's
does the job for
we
that.
already
We're
seen one
iterating on that every single flight,
abort.
building towards that heat
Well, I
shield.
have
that
a feeling we're not
requires
going to
no
see another. We're just going to
refurbishment
see
between
straight
flights.
up
Now,
going for
the
it,
heat shield
going for a
is
catch.
composed of thousands of hexagonal ceramic tiles.
Because they have new
designed
antennas,
to
they have
insulate
new
the vehicle
systems, they have new
during
avionics,
that
they have new
atmospheric
everything to
entry where
support
temperatures ramp up to as high as
reliability,
about
bring it back to the
2600
towers.
degrees
So I have a
Fahrenheit.
feeling they're just going
A
to...
rapidly reusable heat
Yeah.
shield has never been flown in history. So continuously improving this, flying new experiments, those are all key focuses of all of our flight tests right now.
And in between the first and second stages is our hot stage, which we saw in actions on flights 2 through 6. The hot staging maneuver is when the upper stage
staging
engines
is
are ignited
big.
before the booster engines, before those booster engines are completely cut off. With hot staging, the rocket never stops accelerating during separation, so it's more
Trying to get
efficient
everything
than traditional
perfectly
stage separation. One of
lined
the
up.
hallmarks of Starship flights are the incredible views that we get throughout flight. Of course,
Because I don't want to move my
courtesy of
camera like...
Starlink.
Oh,
Every
that's
day,
not what I
we're
do.
working to
Usually you
expand
have
the
like
Starlink network,
streams with like
both on Earth
a thing like
and
this,
in
but I want to have it
space.
like this so you can
Here's
still
Jesse with
see
more.
countdown up here and everything like
Fans
that.
of Starship may know that Starlink enables us to bring you lots of unprecedented views, both from space and here on Earth. In addition to the dozens of cameras on Starship itself,
love Starlink.
we also have mobile Starlink camera kits deployed in the Indian Ocean, connected to our aerial assets and all around Starbase, which all come together to help tell the incredible story of Starship.
Please tell us they
both
have
on and off
live
planet.
video
Thanks to
of those
Starlink,
cameras.
Starship is capable
Please.
of streaming more than 120
We usually,
megabits
last time we
of
saw
real-time, high-definition
it was
video
covered
and
by the
telemetry
cloud of
in
steam,
every phase of flight, providing
or after it was
invaluable
already
engineering
on
data
its
to
side,
help engineers rapidly
or
iterate
after when they just
across
post
all
videos.
systems. And all of that streaming data will be put to good use with the more than 30 cameras on the
30
vehicle
cameras.
for today's
But I
flight
think they're
test.
mostly engineering
Starlink
cameras
is
that we
the
don't
world's
see.
largest satellite constellation operating in low Earth orbit to deliver high-speed, low-latency broadband
Like the engineering
internet,
cameras are
providing
like
access to
internal
people
cameras that look on the
around world,
inside
many who
and,
have never had connectivity before.
you know,
Starlink
see
now
where it
serves
gets
more than
hot and where
119
things are
countries,
starting to
territories,
go
and other
weird.
markets. And
That
here
they're
at
obviously not going to
SpaceX,
show the
we've
inside
been
of the
developing
tanks and
Starlink's
how it works,
communication
because that's
capabilities not just for humans on Earth,
violating
but
laws.
for astronauts in space. Our recent Polaris Dawn mission, we deployed a high-speed internet connection in Dragon. For
I
the
hope they
very
actually
first
show
time.
good views though.
Here's a quick look.
They
at
better
how
have
that
more
went.
views than they usually do.
Starlink is an amazing confluence of programs at SpaceX.
That's the coolest.
We have a whole corner of the company that owns and operates a multiple.
They also post a video before of
satellite
a camera on the
constellation
actual
to provide internet
satellite.
to people on Earth. So Dragon
Oh,
was
that's
modified for Polaris Dawn to have a laser and a Star Trekker
Polaris Dawn,
inside
the
of the trunk.
best
And then it
Dragon
will
mission
obtain
ever.
internet, both uplink and downlink, through that laser link, and it's connected to a Wi-Fi router, just like you would have in your house.
Getting online with Starlink was super easy.
It was just like getting online at home, and even easier, perhaps. It just connected automatically and then worked seamlessly.
And then it was just internet in space.
The
That's cool.
Starlink performance on orbit blew us away.
They're just
It enabled
watching
us to talk
Saturday Night
directly
Live in
with Mission
space?
Control team, and it also enabled us two-way video connection with our families back at home. So it just was an incredible resource.
One of my favorite memories is, all four of us in different parts of the spacecraft on phones with our earpieces talking to our families. Get to show them the perspective that we have of Earth. It was very cool
That's
to bring them
cool.
into the mission that way.
I was able to show my kids and my husband, what it looked like to be floating in space. I got to show them out the window. Well, my husband even exclaimed that at one point we hung up the call and he called back and I answered and he was like, I called space.
Starlink on Dragon is something that we want to include because we have this company
Darren,
within
Osplendu,
SpaceX
NASA
that has
admin,
space-based internet.
administrator.
So what not a better way to test space-based internet in space?
From connecting astronauts in space to providing high-speed internet to more than 4.6
Darren becomes the
million
administrator
active
for
customers
NASA.
here
That's
on Earth.
going to open
The
up so
Starlink
many
team
things.
is laser-focused on expanding coverage, increasing speeds, and lowering latency so that we can connect as many as possible around the world and beyond. Last year, we activated Starlink in 27 new markets and are now covering a global area home to 2.8 billion people, including those who live in some of the most remote places on Earth. To meet the growing global demand for high-speed internet, SpaceX opened a new 700,000 square foot factory in Bastrop, Texas, and introduced Starlink Mini as well as an upgraded version of the Starlink Standard Kit. The SpaceX team also achieved an unprecedented launch cadence, conducting
cameraman back here.
134 Falcon launches, with 89 dedicated to expanding the Starlink constellation. With each launch,
Usually they're not that
Starlink
zoomed in
adds more
on Jesse
capacity
because
to the constellation and continues to expand
Kate
its
is there with her,
coverage,
but Kate's
connecting
out
even more
at
people in
Starbase.
underserved and hardest to reach areas of the globe. Now, while our mission to
Good how
connect
they
the
have two mission
unconnected is far
controls,
from
like
complete,
in
you can check out some of
Hawthorne
the
and in
Starlink team's
Starbase,
highlights from
that are doing the
2024
same thing.
and learn more about how our customers
just
are
an
furthering
extended
Starlink's
mission
impact
control.
around the world at starlink.com/stories. And a little bit closer to home, we do have a few updates for those impacted by the fires here in Southern California. So far, the Starlink team has provided about 1,350 free kits to fire departments and other disaster response organizations from
They
down in
said just
Orange
drive the
County
Cybertruck
all the
around
way
with
up to
a
Malibu.
Starlink dish on the
That
top.
is in addition to applying free Starlink service for thousands of customers impacted by the fires all across the Los Angeles area. And just as critically, since enabling our direct-to-cell satellites with T-Mobile, more than 120,000 text messages have been sent, allowing those in impacted areas to reach loved ones, text 911, or receive emergency alerts. I've never been prouder to be an employee at SpaceX for moments like that where we can help the people and community around us. Make sure to follow @Starlink on X for updates as we continue to work with local response teams, and check out starlink.com/LA wildfires for more information on these efforts.
See, she's
But back to today's
not
flight test.
handling that
One
great
of our
either with the wildfires.
objectives
Don't
is to
blame her.
return the booster to the launch site where it will be caught by the tower as we did on flight test 5. So let's head back to Dan and Kate for a catch primer.
Thanks, Jesse.
Catch.
We are now T-minus 8 minutes and 40 seconds until liftoff. Flight controllers on console there in the building just behind Dan and I. You can actually see the rocket in the distance at the pad 6 miles away. Our excitement is growing. I already am not sure if I'm going to be able to remain coherent after witnessing this, so looking forward to it.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Just a quick status
Dan's
check.
seasoned
The
to
ship
this,
fully
and Kate's
loaded,
brand
its
new.
Main tanks unlocks in fuel. We're going to load the header tanks, and booster is going to be.
You'll see
closing down
the
real soon as
slight
well.
little lean on the
Let's
tower
talk
from when it
about
got
that second
broken
catch
last time.
attempt, though. So we're going to use the tower's 2 gigantic robotic arms, call them the chopsticks. Same thing we used to stack Starship onto Super Heavy for all the
Only like
integration ahead
14
of a flight.
seconds behind the
And
stream.
that's what we used
Not
to
bad.
catch by moving stuff like landing legs from the booster to the ground side. It's a lighter booster, means you can carry more.
I just have
into
my
space.
earplug on the inside of my ear, listen to the preview
Now,
of this
in
stream.
a nominal operational scenario following liftoff and after the 2 stages separate in flight, Super Heavy will return to the launch site, reignite its engines to slow the vehicle down, and the tower's arms will catch the rocket booster.
And just to get to this point, just like
This
before,
camera.
thousands of distinct vehicle pad criteria have to be met prior to that return and catch. We need
And
healthy
that.
systems on the
That's-
booster, healthy
them-
systems
they
on
have
the
the
tower,
best
and
camera
manual
views I've
command
ever
from
seen.
our mission flight director for the day. If we don't send that command before the boost back burn ends, or if any of those automated checks kick us out, that's what happened on Flight 6. The Super Heavy booster will divert to an offshore trajectory, and it'll go out into a landing burn in a soft splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico.
Now, we have said it before, but it remains true today. We accept no compromises when it comes to ensuring the safety of the public and our team, and that
The arms look
return
more open
will
this side
only
than that
take
side.
place if the conditions are right.
And one of the unique aspects
They're really
of
making it
Starship
known that
flights
they're only
is the
return if
return of the catch of that
everything's
Super Heavy
right,
booster
because people are
and
probably
the
going to
audible
start
sonic boom
going,
that
"Oh, it's
comes with it
unsafe,"
in the area around
complaining
the
about it,
return
you know.
location. General impact to anyone in the area is just a brief thunder-like noise, but it definitely lets you know it's coming.
Oh, yeah. It's something our neighbors in Cape Canaveral, Florida, and Vandenberg, California have become accustomed to over the years, and now we're
Falcon
bringing the
9
boom to
landings, yeah.
Boca. So here's a peek of what to expect.
Oh, the raw sound of it. Them grid fins are not looking happy. One of the coolest sounds ever.
As I mentioned earlier, we have Starship, Raptor, and Starlink employees here fully invested in this flight test. And of course, many other SpaceX employees also here across our site supporting their teams, their teammates. Every flight test has been pretty unique, and we're all very excited for another round of firsts, but I'm pretty sure the crowd is looking forward to potentially watching those
Another
chopsticks
catch.
another booster. So let's
Always.
see how excited they are today.
Uh-oh. To open the doors. Oh. They start cheering louder when they're seen on the camera.
Just under 5 minutes to go. We are all very excited here. We're going to send it back to you at Starbase for the final minutes of the countdown. Kate and Dan.
This is supposed to go a week, just less than a week ago. Last Thursday was supposed to go, or last Friday. And then
5 minutes ago,
they
you
pushed
picked the
because
right
they didn't
time
even
to do
stack it, and they pushed it for weather.
Just a quick status check. So we're
And then
almost
here-
fully
now we're
loaded
here.
on the booster. We'll be fully loaded on the ship, fully loaded on the booster coming up soon. Our range team just reported that we're looking go in the range. That's super important.
Great
Our
news.
security guys, Mike, Kyle, Nick, the whole team out there in the elements, making sure everything's clear, doing a fantastic job. And we are coming up on 4 minutes and looking good for launch.
Yeah, certainly exciting. Now, we do have an opportunity to hold at T-minus 40 seconds if
Yep.
necessary. This is a chance for us to
doesn't mean they're aborting.
perform
No.
additional checks if
Usually
necessary.
they take like 3 seconds, if anything, go straight through it.
Need to repressurize some tanks, or if there's a wayward vessel in the range last minute, opportunity to clear it out. But everything currently looking good. Now, once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, a number of events will occur in rapid succession. The ground spin and
they're
ignition
really
systems
pushing it
come up
though.
to
With
flight pressure.
like earlier, as you
Ship will
saw,
go to
the
internal
white dots,
power.
like
After that,
they have a
quick
lot of
disconnect or
tiles
QV
taken off.
arm lockout
They're
is
really
removed
pushing
in
it.
preparation for retraction, which will happen shortly after T0.
I'd say they almost have 100
and yeah, once
tiles
we
taken
pass
off,
T-minus 40 seconds,
even on the
we do
tanks,
have the
and they're
ability,
still going to push it through re-entry
we
and
have the
try
ability to
get it to fail.
recycle the
They're not
count
going to try and
under
get it to fail, but they're going to try and
back to
push
that
it to
T-minus
failure.
40-second mark and hold there to assess what happened and assess opportunity to proceed again to T0.
Yep, we've used that T-minus 40 hold a couple of times.
They
Boats
did
usually
push it
one of
back
the items,
37
but
minutes
we
into the
aren't
launch
tracking
window, and they have a
anything
60-minute
right
window,
now,
so they have
allows us to
23
hold
minutes
there.
extra
We can hold there
to
for
fix any
several
issues.
minutes. Main thing you're watching at is you kind of set a clocks because your temperatures will change and the fuel and the locks, everything pretty quickly. So you've got a couple of minutes that you can hang out and figure things out. There are items that if we pass them, we're scrubbed for the day. One of the main ones is that
If they
flame
ignite and shut
deflector,
down.
at the bottom of the launch mount. Water begins flowing for that at the T-minus 10-second mark. If we scrub at any point after that, we'll be done for the day. And then teams will need to refill the deflector as well as all of our prop that we use to load on board the vehicle. It's pretty much just under 11 million pounds of prop sitting on that thing right now. And we can actually recycle in about 24 hours now.
Which is incredible.
Even if it recycles 24 hours. Obviously, don't love that, but
that is on board the vehicle
I can deal with that.
on your screen.
All right, coming up on the 2-minute mark. Again, a lot of ambitious things on the plate for Starship today.
T-minus 2 minutes.
New ship, new
2
year,
minutes.
a lot of upgrades, doing a lot of ambitious things in space this time. Our first payload deploy, relighting a Raptor engine.
Yeah.
We're looking good.
So as we mentioned before, we have an opportunity to hold at T-minus 40 seconds, not tracking.
I think they've
issues
used
at
it
the moment
twice,
that,
the 40-second hold.
necessary right now. So fingers crossed we can pass through that checkpoint without stopping. But the folks on console are continuing to evaluate the launch commit criteria, making sure that the winds are within limits as well as any other weather restrictions. But man, compared to yesterday, this is a textbook.
Yeah, they were going to
gorgeous
launch
day.
yesterday, and there was rain and wind and everything.
We got clear blue skies for a launch today. So at this point, all the prop has been loaded on the vehicle. We've closed everything out. We're doing our final thrust vector control, our steering.
Okay, gonna take the earplug out because it might get thrown.
Once we hit the 30-second mark, we'll hear the flight director give the final go for launch. So we're under a minute.
Doesn't beat the reaction to the first ever
We're not expecting
launch,
a
though.
hold at T-minus 40, but do not be shocked if that happens. It has happened in the past.
Will
We
it
can
stop
hang
at
out
40?
there for a couple of minutes if we need to.
Get ready for the cheer, and when it gets past the 40.
We hold my breath for 4 seconds.
Pass through prop load gate.
There we go.
All right, we passed.
We're going straight through it.
Upload gate.
Hot diggity dog.
All right.
Not digging.
So we're going to let our flight director, Ty Huntington, take
Flight
it
directors,
away.
go for launch.
Also got to record these. God diggity. Okay, I'm not good.
And 20 seconds.
I usually always record this as well.
T-minus 10, 9,
8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
They're going. There's the aggressive kick.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
Booster ejector pressure is nominal.
They went straight through it. They're just going.
All right, we're more than 30 seconds into flight. Telemetry showing 33 out of 33 engines as it's pitching downrange.
That.
Booster, ship, avionics, power, and telemetry nominal.
Oh.
Hearing good call-outs on the ship from Booster Avionics. You just heard the rumble heading up about 6 miles away.
That's only a piece of rubber, I think,
Starship
though.
arc into just endless blue skies right now.
That sound.
Vehicle supersonic.
More than a minute into flight, the vehicle's supersonic.
Max Q.
So we just passed through Max Q. That's the greatest stress
sound
the vehicle's
is
going to
insane.
experience on the way uphill. Reminder that all of our teams down here on the ground are now looking at systems on the tower. They just did a manual check through. That's going to inform that manual flight director's decision.
So now they're going to be checking
Up,
the...
though, is going to be hot staging.
They're going to be checking the tower and everything like that to make sure it... Nope. Checking the tower and everything like that to make sure it can come back.
Ship engines getting ready to ignite.
Gonna pull up the...
That's going to happen while we're still attached.
Timeline.
We can still see the ship's
332
from the ground.
No, it's not. That's my bad.
Got a little under 30 seconds
240.
away from that. We are hearing good call-outs on the tower preparedness from the manual checks. Reminder,
Good.
though, we've still got automated checkouts on the booster and the ship itself.
The tower so far is looking good.
But as of right now, our manual checks and our manual commanding is looking go for a catch.
Booster engine cut off.
That is incredible news. We just heard the call out for booster engine cut off.
Engine startup.
Most
Here we
engines
go.
cut off down to those middle three.
There we go.
Booster press startup.
Look at that.
All right, hot stage
Chamber
confirmed.
pressure
We've
is
got a
nominal.
booster hopefully on our way back to us, and a ship now making its ascent burn into space. How's it going in Hawthorne, Jesse?
Oh, that looks cool.
It's great over
I
here.
love
You
the
can
look
hear
of
the
it.
crowd screaming for every milestone. The booster is now making its
We
way
lost one
back
engine.
down to Earth. Looks like we have 12 of those 13 engines ignited. We're using the engines that actually gimbal.
We
So
are go for booster return.
an
Yes!
excellent call out there. We are go for booster return.
I was worried for a second because one of the
There's a lot of
13
criteria
engines
that needed to
was
line up
out.
to ensure that we could have
One of the
a
13 was
safe-
out. So I
a
thought
safe booster catch,
that
and
might
sounds like
trigger an
we got
abort of the
that.
catch because one engine is down. But it didn't. They're still going.
And there you can see on your screen, we had we just jettisoned the
Oh.
hot stage, and there's a great, excellent view there of the.
We did
hot
get that
stage
last time
floating
though.
away
We
from
got go for
the super
catch
heavy
and then a couple
booster.
seconds later we heard offshore divert. So still can change.
We've shut
It can
down
change
the
any
engines for that boost back burn. That
at any
confirms
point
boost
up
back
to
burn
actual
is now
catch.
complete. That was the first of 2 burns required for the vehicle to make its way back down to Earth.
Good fins
And
are
next coming up
going.
will be the landing burn. That's going to be 13 of those center engines igniting again.
Land burn is
And that will then go down to from 13
635.
down to 3 engines just
It
right
comes
before
back quick.
we touch down
Like
for
it
that
speeds
booster
back.
catch. Now, reminder: our stage 1 objectives are to have a controlled ascent, stage separation, as well as a controlled boost back burn and hot stage as well. So we're looking good for that so far. Some great views there from the ship of Earth. That looks incredible.
I always need to do my
Now, Starship's ship is still firing its engines right now.
Starship trajectory nominal.
And great call outs. Starship trajectory is nominal. You can follow along the telemetry, the altitude.
Still
in the
coming
bottom
back.
right-hand corner for the super heavy booster, as well as the bottom right-hand corner for the ship. And these views are just amazing.
It's still coming back. Still haven't heard it divert yet.
Again,
And I hopefully
the
won't.
booster is currently making its way back to the tower today. So we're looking forward to a booster catch with the chopsticks. And in the meantime, you can see those grid fins there helping to control the vehicle and guide it back to its landing site.
Booster FTS is saved.
With
Booster
that, we're gonna
FTS
hand it
saved.
back. How's it going over there, Dan and Kate? How are you doing, Kate? Seeing that in person.
Dan had to take that entire segment because I couldn't talk. That was incredible.
There it is.
We can see the booster coming back in now through the plume. At least it looks that way to us. It's incredible that it basically returns. It looks
come
like
on.
a speeding
655 landing burn.
silver flare coming back to the
Look at
once again,
that.
we are standing by for attempting to catch the booster.
It
at
still
the tower.
can
This
go
would be
very
the
wrong.
Second tower catch.
Booster landing.
All engines.
See it.
Engine that was down at the start came back. Engine that was down came
Booster
back.
now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Oh, please. Please.
Booster coming
Do
in.
it.
Get
Down
ready
to-
for that
Do
boom,
it.
Kate.
Down to 3 engines.
Do it.
Booster landing burn shut down.
Yes.
Megazilla has caught the booster.
It did it again. Second time it's ever done it, and the second time it's caught it. Oh my god.
You heard it here. Megzilla has caught the booster.
Oh,
Once
we're looking
again,
a little
for the
leany.
second time, a successful catch by the launch tower. This is the same tower, the launch pad, where that booster took off from just 7.5 minutes ago.
It's tilting.
Great view from
Oh,
the
boy.
chopstick arms, looking at those hypersonic grid fins that steer the booster for that precision landing.
That's the second. Oh, one of the ship
It
engines is
almost
down
looks
as
like it's
well.
flapping its
Yeah,
wings.
you can see just how small that catch fetting is too.
That's
on
that's
something
weird. One of the
that's
ship
just
engines is
so
down,
massive.
but that's the first time it's ever
was
done that.
Absolutely
That's
insane.
interesting.
Meanwhile,
Never done that before.
We're not done.
No.
But
We're
wait,
not
there's
done
more.
yet.
That's
Wow, that is just absolutely stunning.
that's so cool.
And this, of course, a gorgeous view there from the tower looking down at the top of the booster.
Gotta get on my stuff posted, man.
All right, and we are tracking.
I got my stuff posted, bro. Come on.
Now we're standing by for views from the ship, but who can take their eyes off of that incredible sight? That is once again the second catch of a booster back at the launch tower. It was
attempt, second
incredible to
catch.
see it come back down, just this silver flare in the sky. And we can still see the launch plume behind us, and wow, that we definitely I can't speak for you, Dan, but that was very moving for me.
Yeah, and right now you
Okay,
can
that one didn't
see
record.
some of the
Oh,
telemetry on those ship engines has gone out, and we're waiting for
It just
an update
looks
on what
weird.
our ship status is. We were approaching
Oh,
that ship
no.
engine cutoff time, so
Oh.
just waiting to hear. So obviously we've got booster back, booster
Oh,
on the
wait.
launch tower in the chopstick.
Did the ship not
arms.
make it?
But we are waiting to get an update now
Nah.
on the ship.
No way.
As we were expecting ship engine cutoff about 40 seconds ago. We saw some of those engines
No
start
way.
to go out prior to that point.
No way
So
the
right
ship
now
didn't
we
make
are-
it.
We are just standing by to try and
Please.
get the latest word on where we are with ships. So stick with us for just a
Oh,
couple of minutes. as we
please.
Wait to hear.
Please
some
tell me the ship
Now, if you just
survived.
recently joined us, you might want to hit rewind and go back about 9-10 minutes ago to when Starship lifted off from the launch tower that you see there.
No way the
we had
ship
a
didn't make
gorgeous
it.
ascent,
Actually, it's a V2 ship.
followed
It's the
by
first
a
ever time
stage
it's flown, so it's
separation where
kind
the
of
ship
fair.
separated
But,
from
like,
the super
no
heavy
way.
booster. The booster performed a flip maneuver and returned back to the Gulf Coast here. There you can see it on your screen. Obviously, a successful
Did the
catch
ship not make it?
back at the launch tower,
Nah.
which is something that
It
we were
had
all
to,
hoping
right?
to see, and really couldn't ask for a more beautiful background with those blue skies and blue water there. As Dan said, we are standing by for an update on the ship that had ignited its engines and started making its
Because
way
everything's frozen.
up to space.
All the telemetry of the
So,
ship's
standing
frozen,
by
and
for
engines
more
were going
info on
out.
that. But wow, what an experience to see that take off, and for that
No
booster
way
to
the
come
ship
back. You
exploded,
can see there
right?
up close on your screen to the place that it launched from. Once again, there were thousands of catch
I don't have hope.
criteria, which is
Sadly, I don't
basically
have hope.
just all the things that we have to assess and evaluate, and basically make sure that they
Don't
are
love, but
make sure that everything is clear and acceptable conditions, both on the vehicle side as well as the tower side, in order to enable that catch. So obviously from the last 2 flights that we have done, where the Flight 6 we attempted but had to divert
didn't
into
make
the
it.
ocean, and then on Flight 5 we did have the first ever successful catch of the booster. We used the learnings of those 2 flights to hone in that catch commit criteria, and we saw success today, which is pretty awesome.
And just a quick status check. So we currently do not have comms with the ship. So trying to figure out exactly when that happened and exactly what happened. So obviously the flight controllers right now going through their data, looking to make sure it's not anything instrumentation on the ship, but actually try and get us a status. So again, we're gonna keep listening in on this. We'll give you an update as soon as we have a little bit more. So for now, stage 1 back in the tower, waiting to find out a little bit more about stage 2.
I just see notifications saying, chat, is the ship cooked? If the telemetry pops back up, that's going to be amazing, but, like, I don't have hope. I don't think it did it. I don't have a whole lot of hope that the ship survived, because last telemetry was 1 vacuum engine on, all other engines off, and that's it. And it was before it even shut down. So ship's dead.
Right. So if you are just tuning in, we caught a booster, but we are still waiting to find out a little bit more on the ship.
Also, it is V2 ship, so it could just
separated. We did that hot staging maneuver. We did see all 6 of ship's engines on the way uphill during its ascent. But as we were getting to the end of that ascent burn, we saw engines dropping out on telemetry, and we have since lost contact with the ship. So again, we're still listening in on the loops, trying to figure out how much we can get right now. But again, stick with us. We'll bring you updates as soon as we hear them. Really exciting. We were able to catch the booster today. Obviously, we want to get the ship all the way over to the Indian Ocean. May not be able to do that at this point, but we'll give you some updates as soon as we hear a little bit more about the ship.
For those that didn't catch earlier, this was a new version of the ship. This was its debut flight. So a lot of learnings here for sure as we continue to tune in and listen in with the teams and try to gather more information to understand where we stand with the ship. But as Dan mentioned before, teams are trying to make sure that it's not an instrumentation error. We want to find out if it's, did we just lose communication, or did something else happen with the ship? So teams are actively working, trying to figure out what we can find out, and we're continuing to listen in and find out more information to share as we can. But as we said before, and you can see it there on your screen, what a beautiful, beautiful sight to see another booster back at the launch tower. That was successfully caught just minutes ago after sending the ship off into space, and having seen it for the first time with my own eyeballs in person, it was pretty awesome. And yeah, the thunder-like sonic boom was really fun to experience.
Yeah. So we are getting a little bit more. So we did lose all communications with the ship. So I mean, that is essentially telling us that we had an anomaly with that upper stage. So we were just coming up to the end of that ascent burn for the ship. when we stopped until,
It did.
or when we started to lose a couple of the engines, we saw those dropping out, and then we did lose telemetry from the ship, so that means we didn't have contact with it. So at this point, we are assuming that the ship has been lost. So this was a brand new vehicle, essentially. This was kind of an upgrade version. So with that, there's a lot of things you're upgrading, but there's a lot of things you're going to learn as all of those systems are now interacting with each other for the first time. But at this point, we did lose the upper stage of the ship. So again, we're gonna listen in and try and figure out a little bit more about what happened. And obviously, we'll do kind of a full breakdown once we get smarter ourselves in the coming hours and days as well.
For sure. Now, for those that have recently tuned in, we're now a little over T plus 16 and a half minutes after liftoff. We do believe that we have lost the ship during its ascent phase. It's successfully separated from the Super Heavy booster, but during that ascent phase, a couple of the engines dropped out, and then shortly thereafter, we lost communication with the vehicle. So we are assuming that we have lost the ship, but we are standing by to confirm that. And once we can, we will. But this was a new version of the ship, of Starship, and it was intentionally designed and flown in order to basically test the envelope, as we have done with every one of these test flights, the keyword there being test, and really trying to understand the boundaries and the maximums for the ability of this vehicle to fly and understand where those boundaries are. So we always knew that
are they going to cut it? They're going to wait a while until they figure out something else.
Today, success not guaranteed. And so, yeah, we are standing by to see if we can learn more about the status of the ship.
Blue Origin gets to orbit, can't land a booster. SpaceX lands a booster, but can't get to orbit. And then he just says, hear me out. Put Blue Origin's second stage on SpaceX first stage. Purging the engines now. Yeah, so it's been 9-10 minutes since they had communication with the ship, so it's... I think it's gone. I think it's cooked. Well, look at it this way. It's been... how long? It has been 45, almost 50 minutes. And they have 4.1 million views. That is insane. They're starting to vent out the ship now. Or the booster. I did see something starting to peel off of the ship, like I pointed out when it was going up. This flight has been a bit weird. Like, one of the engines failed to start up on the boost back. One of the ship engines shut down. The engine that didn't start up on boost back restarted on landing. Then more engines went out on the ship, and then we lost the ship. Kind of annoying as well, because they had Starlinks on this too. They had dummy Starlinks on this flight too. It's so annoying because that would have been so cool to see. Yeah. Like it shows here, like I was pointing out at the start, this little bit was flapping on launch. That looks like a piece of metal, or could have been a piece of rubber because it's coming out for where like the catch hardware is. I think that could have been part of a tank, and when engines shut down, that got ripped off and could have popped it. I don't think ship's coming back. Ship's gone, but okay, yeah. If this picture is real, we are 100% boned. Oh. Or FTS could have been activated. I don't think. I don't know. I think we just have to wait it out. It's definitely dead though. Starship dead. Block 2, version 2 is dead. Yeah, like every single thing on the ship was upgraded and changed compared to the last version. Every single thing. Cameras, avionics, flaps, the way it's built, tanks, heat shield. All are different. So... Oh. She's gone.
For continuing
That's the face of
stick
sadness.
around, as we were checking in on the status
We're
of the
checking
ship.
in.
At
Yeah,
this
it's
point in
dead.
time, we can confirm that we did lose the
There
ship. However, Starship, the total vehicle, did have an on-time liftoff at 4:37 p.m. Central Time from the launch pad just behind us at Starbase Texas. Gorgeous ascent and successful stage separation. The booster pushed the ship off, and the ship disconnected during that stage separation. The booster came back for a successful, the second ever booster catch at the launch tower, which was pretty incredible to see.
Yeah, it was great to see the booster come down, but we are obviously bummed out about ship. It looked like we lost contact with it a little under 8.5 minutes into flight. That's roughly when you start to get to that main engine cutoff. We obviously need to go through all the data. It's going to take some time. In the next hours, days, we're going to figure out exactly what happened, come back, fly the next one, get even farther.
They do have a license
Reminder,
for
it's a
the next
test.
flight too,
It's a
so...
flight test. It's an experimental vehicle. So we'll figure out what ended our day today and make sure it doesn't end our day tomorrow. So as we do that, we're going to continue to provide you updates on our X account on SpaceX.com. So just continue to tune in there. As we learn what happened, we'll be ready to share it.
Exactly. So for now, we are going to wrap up our webcast. We'd like to thank the folks in the county for supporting the launch, as well as the agencies that enable us to launch, and of course to our viewers for tuning in.
And thank you, Kate, for coming down, doing this with me. It was great to have you here.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys at the next Starship flight test.
Damn, they didn't even get Jesse in on it. That was just it. Damn, that's sucks, man. That sucks. Actually, let's go back here. Let's try and find where ship was looking good there.
At those hypersonic grid fins that steer the booster for that precision landing. It almost looks like it's flapping its wings.
Yeah, you can see just how small that catch fitting is too.
Okay.
It's something that's just so massive.
So this was the last view of ship we saw. And it already had one engine down at that point.
We're not done, but wait, there's more.
Yet.
Wow, that is just absolute. Of course.
And then that was it.
Eyes off of that.
Ship was dead.
Yeah,
Are the grid fins still steering against that? Nah. Let's look at this real quick though. Hold on. Look at the lean.
Booster coming in.
Down to 3 engines.
Oh, that hit down hard on the dropsticks. Why is it lagging so much? Let's see.
As of right now, our manual checks and our manual commanding is looking go for a catch.
So
that is incredible news.
booster engines shut down fine.
Engine startup.
Hot stage fine.
Boost back for startup.
Boost back. One of the engines didn't start up. You can even see it there.
Engine startup.
Off down to those
Stage
middle
separation.
3.
Boost back for startup.
You can see here, one of these engines didn't start up at all. And you can also tell down here, it just says it. It didn't start up at all. I thought that was definitely going to abort the catch. Imagine if they aborted the catch, we didn't get ship or thing. But see here, that was a bit of metal flapping, but that doesn't look structural. It just looks like a catch bumper.
Into space. How's it going in Hawthorne, Jesse?
It's great over here. You can
They didn't show anything after that.
Phenomenal.
There's a lot of criteria that say food.
Like, ship's going. It was going fine.
And the hot stage, and there the super heavy booster. The engines for that boost back for the vehicle to be one of, as from the ship.
That's weird, man.
You can follow for heavy boost, just amazing. Catch there, I didn't back. Seeing that in person.
Had to take. They're coming back in return. Second engines.
So, engine shut down
Booster now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
at 8:53. We lost the first engine at 7:40. We lost the first engine.
Absolutely stunning.
Oh.
We're not done.
Camera started to go weird. Another sea level engine died. A vacuum engine died.
Wow, that is just absolutely stunning. And this, of course, a gorgeous view there from.
And then telemetry started getting a bit weird. Another vacuum engine died. And then the last sea level engine dies. Yeah, he said we are tracking, so.
Views from the ship, but who can take their eyes off of that incredible sight? That is once again.
I have a feeling FTS triggered. I think FTS triggered because sea level engine died, vacuum engine died, another sea level engine died, other vacuum died, and then the final sea level engine went out. There's one engine left on the ship. I think the FTS terminated the ship. because obviously it's not going to make it through the rest of the flight with one engine out of 6. So it's obviously not going to make a landing either with no sea level engines. So I have a feeling engines started to go down for some odd reason, maybe filter issues like they had before, and then FTS triggered, and I have a feeling that's what happened. But we will look at some other. We'll look at some other videos. Why not?
So far, some great views there.
Right there.
From the ship of Earth. That looks incredible.
Yet it's still 75.
Let's see if he noticed the engines.
See it.
Now Starship's ship.
I can and I can see how fast.
Because this is first catch he's ever seen.
Way! Look at that! They're falling right there! Holy crap! It's screaming! Transonic right there. Here comes booster engine ignition any second. Light those engines, please! Light those engines, please! Oh my gosh! Yes! Yes! Let's go! Here comes the sonic boom right about when it touches the tower. Look at how precisely they can control that back to the tower. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, here comes the sonic boom. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. Here it is. Come on.
They slapped that down the tower.
Let's go. Come on. Oh! Yes! I could feel the air. I could feel
damn. That seriously realized ship's dead.
Use them. That was unbelievable.
We got the Pi Raptor back. They had a Raptor with 314 on it.
Crap. I caught it. I caught it. I caught the catch. I didn't miss it this time.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be there. If they didn't push the launch back.
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. We go back inside. I understand.
He doesn't realize ship's dead.
Humanity.
Booster back, booster on the launch tower in the chops. Off about 40 to that point. The latest word where we are with ships. So stick with us for just a couple of minutes as we wait to hear some updates.
Now, if you just recently joined us, you might want to hit rewind and go back about 9-10 minutes ago to when Starship lifted off from the launch tower that you see there. We had a gorgeous ascent followed by a stage separation where the ship separated from the super
I didn't see how the engines shut down. I thought the engines just shut down at once, and it shut down as that last vacuum was shut down. But now I'm looking at it, the way they shut down was like a vacuum, a sea level, another sea level, another vacuum, and then the final sea level. I think it detected engines started shutting down and terminated entirely.
An update on the ship that had ignited its engines and started making its way up to space. So standing.
That sucks, man. They had the test payloads on it. They had a load of tests for it. Sucks.
Maybe I'm being selfish, but it was unbelievable.
We hear them. Really exciting. We were able to catch the booster
of the ship. This was its debut flight, so a lot of learnings here for sure as we continue to tune in and listen in with the teams and try to gather more information to understand where we stand with the ship. But as Dan mentioned before, teams are trying to make sure that it's not
Hear me out. I've got an idea. What if we combine New Glenn's first launch and Starship's 7th launch? We'd have a fully orbital and landing mission. They kind of pulled the reverse Blue Origin, didn't they? Because they landed, but they didn't get to orbit or through the full second stage burn. And Blue Origin did the opposite. How cool would it have been?
At this point, we are assuming that the ship has been lost. So this was a brand new vehicle, essentially. This was kind of an upgrade version. So with that, there's a lot of things you're upgrading, but there's a lot of things you're going to learn as all of those systems are now interacting with each other. It's roughly when.
Yeah, lots of reports from the islands, from the Caribbean, of this thing re-entering. That would have been a crazy show. This one's even wilder. This thing totally broke up. I don't even know if they got to flight termination system before it broke up. But this is why they have exclusion zones, my friends. This is what exclusion zones are for, is for this.
Oh,
right
man.
here. This is from user Cam10
Oh, God.
on X. Wow. Can you imagine seeing that?
Oh, God.
You would think that was like the end of the world.
What the hell happened?
Wow. Yeah, this might be bad for progress for spaceship. For spaceship. For the spaceship. For Starship,
Yeah,
my friend.
next flight 8, they wanted to land the ship back on the tower, but
some licenses for the next one. They're going to want a full report on this. This is going to be a full accident report, full mishap report.
I don't think it will be.
Remember
Actually, no, because it's not in the contingency.
3 on average, 1 a month. It's because of stuff like this. There could be like a 3 or 4 month hold where we don't see another Starship launch until they figure that out and then file the entire report and get the sign off on the FAA before they can fly again. And then by the end of the year, they're getting down to 2 or 3 a month. It could all average out to that 9 to 15. But that's,
man.
Wow.
Let me try and find the
yeah, it's confirmed they lost it. It's triple confirmed, not only by SpaceX, but here on stream too. They lost it. They lost it, that's for sure. Hang on, let me tell my team here something real quick. Hey team, if anybody's got the capacity, can we start bringing in clips from anything that we can from a Zcam and stuff?
Yeah, what I'm finding isn't looking good.
Off here soon. My voice is exploding, probably because I'm yelling. Is it possible to start downloading our clips on the air before we lose all the, not for replay, but just keep that moving?
Damn.
From
it looks so cool, but like.
Yeah, stop rolling it like this.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, maybe keep one going, but I do have a drive here if you want it.
I don't know if you can see it, but like. God damn.
Is it at all possible, Andrew, for you to pull back Steve-O's shot? We got to see Steve-O's tracking shot from. Was he
That's
Mr. T
insane.
He was Mr. T, right? Okay, we have an unbelievable tracking shot. Hopefully, that I guess. Did we show it on air? Did it actually end up on air? Okay, well, hopefully, we'll try to see if we can do a replay of it too. But apparently, Steve-O, one of our team members here, had an amazing.
Yeah, ship. It didn't.
That's coming in slow-mo too, so not too much slow-mo, but it's 3 frames a second. But I can't wait to see that. So I'm going to go through many of these as quickly as possible. The SpaceX have plans to implement some kind of escape system for crew passengers, not even during landing, but how about during any portion of flight?
That popped. I don't even know if it did make it to.
If you do this enough, you'll find all these kinks. You won't have these problems, and you'll have.
Yeah,
a very
that doesn't look like
system.
it even got rid of the propellant in it
eventually you can just do
before it popped.
But yeah, that's going to bring up a lot of questions of could we still, for human launches, still put a abort capsule on top or something? Let's see here. That's awesome, Brian.Hank you for tuning in. Glad you were here. Paul Tono. Nope.
Sucks because
landing legs on starships that need landing.
They
legs.
had
landing on Mars,
so much ready.
There's not a launch tower there. If you're landing on the moon, you have to have landing
get a
legs.
video of
But
it
on
and do
Earth,
tests
these
and
ones are optimized for going to and coming back to Earth. They will not need landing legs if they have the launch tower. Why would you put them on there? If you
looking through videos
remove
of
all that weight, it's just more mass to orbit. So
explosions and
yeah, there will likely continue seeing this continue. How fast could we get to outer planets from Bartos and beyond with 1 to 2 ton probes? using stripped down
Oh,
Starship.
hold
Okay,
on.
stage, quick.
Okay, I need to.
It would be, yeah, if you just stripped down Starship and just threw a 1-ton probe and then did like a, Jupiter gravity assist, I'll bet you could get out to like
Hold on. This
many
is.
percentage, like 3 or 4% of the speed of light or something if you do it like that. That would be awesome. I'm
Hold
sorry,
on.
sounds like my camera may have froze for the time being, but you still have my audio, I think?
Hold on. This is.
Okay.
This is where ship died. This is where the ship ended. There she blows. Damn. That is not a happy
into
ship.
play when you have a vehicle that should have easily been able to make it through its burn, but we will see. We will see. There's still a long ways. It's still the early days of this stuff, guys. Da Vinci, I was wondering, do you own a house you stream from, and how far is it from where you live? Greetings from Switzerland. Yeah, the studio here is a building that I bought in 2021 for Starship to be able to stream from here. Then we plugged in.
Yeah,
when we
I think
built the van
that's.
in 2022. We plug it into the studio here.
That's everything.
Then
That's
now
it.
we put all that equipment into a trailer, which literally just arrived now. So the stream has not been running on the trailer because that trailer's been transported from California back. So, yeah, welcome to logistics. And then, yeah, I live in Iowa.
Yeah,
so I'm
I
back
think
and
that's
forth
it.
between Iowa.
I think that's. That sucks, man. I was really looking forward to seeing re-entry and looking at more. I wanted to see how the flaps performed, the new flaps on re-entry, because there was always heat escaping through the flaps. Sucks though. Like they had test payloads. They had more cameras. Oh, boosters on fire again.
Nemesis.
Boosters
Or
being
Nemesis, I
spicy.
can't think of the word. As to be able to build weapon systems.
Kinda see it great, but
that's the main
through
thing
this
for them,
vent,
is just like pretty much every
there's
other
fire.
factory tour where I give them the footage and say, that's it's
They opened the vent,
I mean, here, but that is just a fact.
or they opened the
How did it go with
valve,
the
and
Purple
then
Origin video tour go? I mean, honestly, it was pretty straightforward. I showed them the footage. If anything, it was ITAR. I mean, there's pretty much just any of these factory tours with anything. It's just so much Terry's
that's
workbench.
oh yeah, that sucks, man. I really want to see how the Starlinks deployed, because they had a camera looking up at the payload bay. I want to see how the Starlinks deployed, how that looked. And re-entry, see different re-entry views, see more cameras, because they had 30 cameras on it. That sucks. It really does suck to see, because they had that down for the last like 6 launches. 6 launches, 5, 6 launches, they've had that down. They've got it. Well, yeah, 5 launches. The first one exploded on launch. Second one spun out of control. Third one, they made it. No, second one, they made it. It was spin out of control on orbit. Yeah, but anyway, that does suck, because they had that down, and there's so much more going for it, and so many more experiments, so many more cool views, and I think they had the. Let me check. Did they have the license for multiple launches? Did they have multiple? Did they have a permit for multiple licenses? Because if they did, if they did, I wonder, because they already have the license, could the FAA go, hey, that didn't go great. You're not getting that second license or second launch. And find the actual license. That's November 2023. November 2023. November 23. I don't know. I'm trying to find it. I don't know where it is. December 17th, 2024. Conduct launch the super heavy Starship super heavy vehicle, license granted, conditions, blah blah blah. Yeah, actually, let me see his reaction to this.
You could see Starship though up until this point. That is beautiful, and there it goes. That is the moment they lost it. Fully lost it, and
yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna try and find that because I want to know if they had the full license, would the FAA go, "Hey, that fails. You're not getting the second launch." Should be 100% what I would expect them to do because it failed. They're just in case. They're obviously not going to, in case they launched a defective version again. But yeah, that it sucks. Seeing the most reliable part of it fail. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it because I've been going for an hour and 20 minutes and it launched like less than an hour ago. So I've somehow gone a lot longer than I thought I could. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Where is it? I'm trying to find something. This. Mute on here. Yeah. I don't think you can hear that, right? No. Okay. Why can I... Okay. That's not what I wanted at all. Why is this? Okay. I'll deal with that. I'll work with it. Alright. So, that's going to be it. Sadly, we would have been going for another hour if second stage worked out. Sadly, it didn't. But hope I'd say it'll probably be like a month, maybe less. Because the FAA is starting to speed up things a little bit. I think we will get it pretty quick. They licensed this launch early December, and it's late. It's like mid-January now, so I think we're all good. They'll get through it quick. They'll speed through it. Yeah. So that'll be it for now. I wanted to stream with new stuff for a while. Now I got to do it. Good occasion. So that'll be it until very likely the next Starship launch. Yeah, so I will see you all whenever that happens. Whenever. Go.